You always take a coffee break, an extended coffee break on a tough day, so can be understandable. But we'll get started anyway. This is, for those who saw me in the morning and attended my other session in Docker as well, I promise you this is the last time you'll see me on stage. And this is one session for a change. Unlike when I'm generally on stage where I like talking and boring audiences, I'll be talking the least, and it'll be our customers who'll be talking the most. So good for you. It's what we thought was we won't keep really a definite single theme or a topic for this panel discussion intentionally, because the idea was to keep it sort of open. And we've seen a lot of themes around the different sessions that you saw today across all the three halls, and we thought this could be an extension to it, including some of the themes in the keynote which took the cultural elements of Amazon into account as well. And so what we thought we'll do is we'll call up 4 of our esteemed customers on stage and do sort of a panel discussion with them. I'll ask them a couple of questions, and then I'll open up to the audience for you guys to ask any questions as well. We have not coached them. They will talk whatever their opinions about the platform and the experience and their teams have been about. Hopefully it'll be good and exciting and could be intense as well. It's not intended to be like a Arnab Goswami debate style discussion. It'll be a little more comfortable than that. So that'll be better? Okay. Okay, we should talk offline because that's not my decision. It has been asked by people before. It's a fair question, no doubt about it. Exactly. We do have a support site center there. We haven't invested in infrastructure, but we just opened one 5 months ago. It's a huge investment. Yeah. We have one in Bombay. We don't disclose the data center locations by policy. Let's talk offline, but. All right, so with that, let me kind of introduce the panelists as well, and I'll request them to come on stage. So first, it'll be Ambuj from Arvind Internet. It's part of the Arvind Group. We'll then call upon Chandrasekhar, or CNB as we call him, from Freecharge. It's obviously, as the name suggests, if you have not heard of it, payment company, right? A payment app. And with the recent announcement, CNB, I'm assuming you've got a lot of spike. I don't know whether you had an influence in that decision, but we'll ask him later. We'll then call upon Mr. Anadhi on stage. He used to run the analytics for Myntra and now works for a very interesting company, which I won't steal the thunder for him. I'll let him explain. Lastly, we'll call Ronak on stage from Nowfloats. Some of you would have seen him interacting with him at the booth as well. He's the CTO of Nowfloats, and you'll hear from him about his company as well. All right, so gentlemen, let's get started. Then what I'll do is, just to kick it off and warm yourself, we'll start with just a 2 or 3 minute use case of what your company actually does, right? Just for the audiences to know, for those who aren't aware. We can probably have microphones there, so you can pick up the other, okay.
So hi, am I audible?
Yep.
So what do we do? I come from a company called Nowfloats. Okay. That was
for you, I think.
That was like, shut up, or something like that. Okay. So I come from a company called Nowfloats with a simple vision. With a vision of making every single retail chain online and get discovered online. That's what we do. Technically speaking, it's a machine learning based automated SEO plugin. In India, we have 250,000 paid merchants today who use our product. You would have, while searching, you would have definitely, if you search on Google, you have definitely landed on one of our customers that is powered by Nowfloats, but you would never see us existing because we do not want to come in between the merchant and the consumer. And yeah, so we are trying to solve the local commerce with the hypothesis that let the merchant tell us what's new in his business, we will take care of the rest. So it's a full ML-based technology.
And do you accept currency notes in the form of payments from merchants at all? No? Okay. Okay.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Anadhi Mishra, and I right now work for a company called Team Indus. I don't know if you folks heard of it. It's a Google Lunar X Prize contestant. Among the 5 companies that got selected, the only Indian company to get selected, only non-American company to get selected for Google Lunar X Prize. Our mission is to put a lander on the moon and then beam to Earth high definition images of lunar surface and do other spectrometry experiments which will tell us what exactly comprises, what is moon made of, what all sort of terrain it has. Well, so that all sounds a whole ton of technology, and it is. But I'm fundamentally the geek there. My job is to set up the data center, set up the simulations, the architecture of computer systems that are involved. And this project does need a lot of computer systems, telecommunication, apart from mechanical and chemical and aerospace. So that's about all that I work right now. I'm very new into the game. Don't expect me to talk about rocket science here because I myself don't know much. I can talk about data center operations, and I'd be more comfortable doing that.
So you've got the computer geek who's closest to the rocket scientists in the room here as well, in Bangalore, locally. Great. Same, you want to just quickly talk about, most people would have heard of Freecharge, but what's the impact it's having of late is even more interesting.
So I'm Chandrasekhar. I work at Freecharge, handling the operations part. We were a recharge company. Now we do payments, including prepaid instruments like wallet. So sending and receiving money, making that a simpler thing for people to do. That's what we're into.
Oh. Thank you. We are trying to solve a problem. How many of us has walked into a store and wanted to purchase a particular apparel, and we could not get a size of that. We wanted a different color, and we asked the store guy, hey, we did not wanted that size. Can you tell me when will you get this size? Or is there any other store nearby which gets me this size or this color? The store guy has no idea about it. He just say, you know what? We get new stock every Thursdays. Why don't you check back then? We try to solve that problem. We are connecting all the stores across the apparel brands in an homebrew, 100% homebrew written code, which connects all of them, their live inventory, and putting up a nice UI on top of it, a Web 2.0 website, which can you can purchase online. The orders go to the real stores. If you walk into a real store, you can actually collect from there. You can order from one store in MG Road and collect it from the commercial street store, and even place an order from a store at a different location and get delivered to your home. So this is the problem that we are trying to solve with the brick and mortar stores.
Okay.
No, if you, I'm not sure if aggregation means marketplace. Is that what you mean to ask? Yeah, it's a marketplace. It's a marketplace. Every brand is a seller of themselves, right? But it's a marketplace where we do not just connect their warehouse, we connect their stores. Stores is where all the action happens. Stores is where your customers walk in. Stores is where you having a connect with your loyal customers. And we want to build a platform which you can go online, discover things, then you can walk offline, or you walk offline, become a customer of an online platform. You get the same promotions which you walk in. See, I'm a loyal customer of X and Y brand. I generally get a call from them, say there's a new arrival that have come up. So there's a kind of connect, I have that kind of a store. But sometimes also when I walk into their stores, I don't get my liking of clothes. And that's a sales loss for them, because then I walk into another store nearby and buy something because I have invested my time. I have gone to that place and wanted to purchase something. I want to get that item purchased, and yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Hmm. Okay. 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 I'll take your suggestion. Thank you so much.
So, okay, so I'll stay with you, Ambuj,
Okay.
right? And a lot of people, and the reason is a lot of people during lunch kind of came up to me, and there was a session on DevOps as well, or around that, and a lot of people keep asking, we talked about it during lunch as well ourselves, that, like with every other industry term, this is creating a lot of hype, and people have their own definitions. Why do you think it's important in your teams? What is your definition, and why do you think it's important?
Okay, so talking about DevOps, we were talking around before as well. It's blurring the boundary. DevOps means when you blur the boundary of your infrastructure ops and writing code on it and automating it. Because as you grow in scale, your ops cannot do the same work the way they were doing by managing some Unix servers, by running some couple of scripts here and there. Now, in the new economy, in the new microservices economy, you have ephemeral services running around. And you cannot have a hold of them until unless you write code. You take your infrastructure as a code. There are a lot of Lambda, Lambda CD and other solutions have come into market, which actually treats your infrastructure as a code. I think that's what to me. So DevOps should not be looked at as something, that's a separate unit. It's a part of development. It's a part of your success. Your product can be as good if it does not use the infrastructure wisely and does not scale.
Okay, cool. And going back to our sort of keynote today morning, we had Guy Ernest talking about just the cultural elements of Amazon and how startups and enterprises can use that cultural element to scale. So my question from here, and it's an open-ended question, would be, how important is that? Culture of, let's say, an innovation, experimentation. What are the elements that go into it, and why is it important?
No, so see, it's very important. Okay, I'll answer in two phases, right? As a startup, you start with an experiment. Every startup starts with an experiment, right? Again, speaking for myself, there are many startups who find an operational loophole in the entire industry, like, okay, e-commerce is a hype, let's do an e-commerce startup. Marketplace is a hype, let's do marketplace startup. Ignore them for a second. Usually breakthroughs happen when you start experimenting and you hit upon gold, right? Now, what happens with time, like I have been doing this startup since 2011, 5 years for me, right? With time, what happens, you find out a solution that works in the market. And that's currently my sales guys are selling, we're making money. That's my reality. But I know that's going to earn me money for the next 1 year. But then even I know and my competition knows and the market also knows. There's a product selling in the market which is working, people are seeing ROI. You will definitely face competition. If a startup loses that experiment tells you what's going to come, what you're going to do 2 years ahead, right? The small trends. Your current product is the market trend. Experiments help you identify the small trends which usually go unnoticed. And that's what defines the future. And hence, it's very important that you got to keep an eye on big trends and small trends, or let's say big data and small data. So small data gives you the future, big data gives you the current, what's happening.
Well, very, very wisely put. Belies your ears, I would add to that, every startup is an experiment. So apart from the marketplace bets and the e-commerce bets, the way I see it is the seeds of failure are there in success itself. So when you start a tech company and it starts to catch on, the business takes over the tech. You don't have time to respond. So unless you are architecting it right, you can expect some failures, some slowdowns. And in a competitive environment, in a race, in a 100-meter dash, this could be the difference between life and death. I'll just give an example from about 5 years ago. How many of you heard of iStream.com? There was this company. See, that's how competitive the place is. iStream.com in 2011 had become the largest Indian video entertainment destination. It was second only to YouTube. Of course, in 2013 it shut down because they couldn't raise second round funding. And I was heading the engineering team there at that time. And what I know from that success, it was a big success actually at that time. There was no other video distribution company, video on demand company in India at that time, we didn't have time to respond when we started catching on. And that's what you got to prepare for. And I think, and iStream.com was entirely, apart from a little bit of video processing that we used to do in-house here in Indiranagar, everything else was on AWS. We were one of the early adopters of AWS. And we tried to use almost the most of the tooling that was relevant to us. I think it's a big differentiator, especially in a competitive race.
Well said. So Senvi, I'll kind of come to you, switching to AWS and experimentation. Why does AWS make experimentation easier? You've been a customer of AWS. I've heard some notes from you, and you've started using some of the managed services. How do those help?
So this is what used to happen to us in a data center. Somebody would think of an idea, but actually getting things in place would take maybe 4 months because you order servers, somebody in finance will say no, and the whole circus happens, and then you get some machines, and then you experiment. By the time maybe your competitor already has built a feature and shipped it. AWS makes it very easy to experiment fast, put it out there in the market. So time to market gets a big boost, which also means you can experiment in small quantities in production, run your A/B testing, try out features. What doesn't work, kill them. AWS makes things simple to do that.
Okay, so I'll just ask one question, and it's an open-ended question. Whoever wants to take it can take it, or more than one of you, and then we'll probably take some questions from the audience as well. Serverless, that's the next big thing. People keep talking about it. People think it's great. There's Lambda in AWS or otherwise, and we are like a full house in the serverless sessions as well. What's kind of the future? Where do we use it? Why do you need it? What are the advantages, and where are you guys in that journey?
Okay, so I will speak for myself. Okay, I think the market is maturing in terms of the use of serverless, right? It's I would see it's reaching the Gartner's hype curve on the top. Honestly, I'll see that probably it will be abused for some more time, and then people will start finding its rightful place into the architecture. But I honestly believe serverless is here to stay. Some people also call it function as a service. There are some blogs which says nano services, which basically it means that